Although the brain represents only about 2% of total body weight, it uses roughly 20% of the body's energy. That's an enormous energy requirement. Our muscles require ATP for every contraction. Bone is constantly being remodeled. These are all tissues that rely heavily on the tiny energy factories inside our cells. Today, we're going to look at some of the additional areas where ubiquinol may support healthy aging, but the heart isn't the only organ in the body that depends on massive amounts of cellular energy. In fact, several other organs and tissues are extremely energy demanding as well. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the NatureCity podcast. I'm your host, Carl Pradelli. And if you haven't been here before, I'm also the CEO and co-founder of the company, having started NatureCity over 20 years ago with my wife, Beth. And since then, it's been our honor to have served over 500,000 Americans by offering them the best supplements we can make. In our last episode, we focused on how ubiquinol, which is the active form of CoQ10, supports heart health. We talked about how the heart beats about 100,000 times every day, pumps enormous volumes of blood, and relies heavily on mitochondrial energy production to keep working nonstop. That's why nutrients involved in ATP production, like ubiquinol, are so important for cardiovascular health. But the heart isn't the only organ in the body that depends on massive amounts of cellular energy. In fact, several other organs and tissues are extremely energy demanding as well. Today, we're going to look at some of the additional areas where ubiquinol may support healthy aging, including the brain, skeletal muscle, and even bone health. And when you look at the research, a common theme appears. These are all tissues that rely heavily on mitochondria, the tiny energy factories inside our cells. Let's start with the brain. Although the brain represents only about 2% of total body weight, it uses roughly 20% of the body's energy. That's an enormous energy requirement. Every thought, memory, and nerve signal depends on ATP produced inside brain cells. And as we age, several things can affect the system. Mitochondrial efficiency tends to decline, oxidative stress increases, and cellular repair mechanisms may become less effective. These factors are all believed to play a role in cognitive aging. Ubiquinol may help support brain health in several ways. First, by helping mitochondria produce energy more efficiently. Second, by acting as a powerful antioxidant that helps protect neurons from oxidative stress. And third, by supporting healthy cellular signaling pathways that influence a healthy inflammation response and cellular resilience. While research is ongoing, maintaining strong mitochondrial function is widely considered one of the most important strategies for supporting cognitive health as we age. And research suggests the support you can get from ubiquinol may help support cognitive health and reduce age-related decline. Another tissue that depends heavily on mitochondrial energy to avoid fatigue is skeletal muscle. Our muscles require ATP for every contraction. Whether you're walking, lifting something, exercising, or just standing up, muscle cells must constantly generate energy to perform their work. Mitochondria inside muscle cells are responsible for producing that energy. As we age, mitochondrial efficiency in muscle tissue typically declines. No surprise. This can contribute to fatigue, slower recovery from exercise, and gradual loss of muscle performance. Research on CoQ10 and ubiquinol has suggested potential benefits in this area. Studies have shown that CoQ10 supplementation may help support muscle energy production, reduce exercise-related fatigue, and improve recovery after physical activity. This is important because maintaining muscle strength and mobility is one of the most critical factors for maintaining independence and quality of life as we get older. Supporting mitochondrial function in muscle tissue with ubiquinol can play a role in keeping those systems working efficiently. One area that many people may not associate with CoQ10 is bone health. But emerging research suggests that ubiquinol may also support the biological processes involved in maintaining strong, healthy bones. Bone is not static tissue. It is constantly being remodeled through a dynamic process involving two types of cells, osteoblasts, which build new bone, and osteoclasts, which break down older bone. Healthy bones depend on maintaining a balance between these two processes. As we age, that balance can begin to shift towards bone breakdown. Oxidative stress and mitochondrial dysfunction are believed to be contributing factors. Research involving ubiquinol suggests it may help support healthy bone metabolism by reducing oxidative stress and supporting the energy needs of bone-forming cells. In other words, even though bone may seem like an inert structure, it is actually metabolically active tissue that depends on healthy cellular energy production every day. Supporting mitochondrial function may therefore play a role in maintaining healthy bone density and strength as we age. When you step back and look at the broader picture, a pattern emerges. The heart, brain, muscles, and bones all rely heavily on efficient cellular energy. They are also all vulnerable to oxidative stress and mitochondrial decline as we age. Ubiquinol sits at the center of both these processes. It supports mitochondrial ATP production, and it protects and provides antioxidant protection where energy production occurs. That combination is why CoQ10 has been studied for decades in the context of healthy aging. Rather than targeting just one organ system, ubiquinol supports several fundamental biological pathways that influence how the body ages. If our previous episode highlighted how ubiquinol supports the heart, this episode shows that its role extends far beyond cardiovascular health. Energy production, oxidative balance, and mitochondrial function are essential for many of the body's most important tissues. Supporting these systems may help promote resilience throughout the body as we age, which is what we want. In our True CoQ10 supplement, we use Konica ubiquinol, the bioidentical form used in the majority of the clinical research to date. Each soft gel provides 100 milligrams of ubiquinol, helping support the cellular energy systems that many of our organs depend on. Also important, True CoQ10 contains an advanced delivery system shown to increase blood levels of ubiquinol by up to 4.3 times compared to regular CoQ10. You can find out more about the True CoQ10 formulation at NatureCity.com. That's it for this episode. Thanks so much for listening. Please like it if it was helpful. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you won't miss future episodes of the NatureCity podcast, or you can listen to us on your favorite streaming service or on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. This is Carl Pradelli, and I'll see you next episode.